Armenian massacre. Beadle bids for footage. Gay dads. They're hoping for a boy. Beef war official. We will fight 'em at the butchers. Once more unto the beef, dear friends. Once more. Cry God for Harry, England and Ian Lee.
Good evening. Thank you. No, thank you. Hello and welcome to the 11 o'clock show. Stop this madness. When is it all going to end? I'll tell you when. It's when Monsieur Johnny, so-called Frenchman, and his bullying henchmen stop trying to force-feed our babies with their faeces-filled Frisians and their poo-pack porkers. Listen up, Luigi, or whatever you're called. We are a peaceful nation. Just ask any Kraut, Serb or Argy. Yep, Britain is a peaceful nation, hard but fair. But push us too far and we will strike back faster than you can eat a horse. Now, in your own time, we've got plenty of time. Look at this, The Sun. Nothing sums up the British mentality better than this headline. We don't want war, but France is wrong. That's it in a nutshell. Simple, simply done. Two facts. War is stupid, France is wrong. The whole concept of France is wrong. Even your stupid flag is wrong. Right colours, wrong design. The Sun has also kindly printed the same message in French. This is true. This is absolutely true. Nous ne voulons pas la guerre, mais la France a tort. Notice that it takes the French 3 more words than us to say exactly the same thing. Which is why we always beat them in wars, of course, because by the time they've managed to say, get your guns, the British are coming, we're in Paris sleeping with their sisters. So listen up, Sanchez. If it wasn't for our boys, you'd be speaking German. Patriotic viewers, I urge you to join me. Are you with me? Yeah! Yes, then please welcome a girl who would never be boned by a bitcher, Miss Daisy Donovan. Now, Daisy, of course, you realise that the French crisis is set to run and run.
Oh, that's a shame, because I love beef. Man beef.
Daisy, tell us what's coming up in tonight's show.
We'll be asking who shot the Armenian Prime Minister. The same people who shot the Blair Witch Project, by the look of it.
Maybe Armenian TV should have called in this man, Death Wish director Michael Winner. He'll be talking to us later.
And our very own fun-loving criminal, Ali G, is back, and this time he's doing America.
Is it true, looking back now, that Reagan and Thatcher was actually doing it? Is that really true?
Doing it?
For real?
Now here's the headlines. As the beef war continues, the hideous truth behind France's mucky farms is revealed in this ghastly footage, which shows a sexually frustrated French farmer checking a piglet's suitability for a forthcoming internet porn clip.
News of the Armenian massacre now. The Prime Minister was a former PE teacher, so it made a change for someone to make him do it in his pants. The Prime Minister will be remembered for his last words. I refer the honourable gentleman to the flesh wound I received moments ago.
It was announced today that 2 gay men will become surrogate fathers to twin girls. They've already painted their bedroom pink, yet they haven't decided how to decorate the twins' room yet.
Apparently, the couple have spent almost £200,000 on fertility treatment to get their surrogate mother pregnant. Why didn't they just shag her?
The government has announced plans to make home computers available to all today. Poor families will be able to lease a computer for as little as £5 a month. Those on rundown housing estates are expected to get PCs with broken Windows 98.
After months of fudging over who should be London's mayor, Tony Blair has finally come out, firmly and decisively endorsing Frank Dobson in a speech of stunning conviction.
I believe that Frank would be a good person to be the mayor of London, just because I believe in the end he will do a good job on the policies that matter for people in London. That's why.
Good point, well made. He sold it to me.
And that was the headline news. Time now to return to the story that's dominating the day's news, the assassination of the Armenian Prime Minister and several members of his cabinet.
Our reporter, Ricky Gervais, is in Yerevan.
The world is still shocked today by the brutal assassination of Vazgen Sarkisian, the world's hairiest Prime Minister. 4 revolutionary gunmen strode into the Armenian parliament and opened fire, killing the Prime Minister and 8 others. After a long, drawn-out siege, the terrorists finally surrendered, releasing the hostages unhurt, apart from the dead ones and the ones that they injured. The dramatic scenes unfolded live on national television. The leader of the gunmen was reported to shout, "This is a payback. They're drinking the ordinary people's blood," before he murdered the Prime Minister. The world's leading expert in these matters, Peter Cushing, in a rare interview today said, "I wouldn't have used guns myself. For your standard vampire slaying, I'd use a stake through the heart, or it was 5:15, so just open the blinds, let a little sunlight in, that'd do it. Or you've got your garlic, your crucifix." After their arrest, a search of the gunman's den revealed that only hours before the killing, the gang had been watching video nasties. Among the films seized were Bride of Chucky Kokorvian and A Nightmare on Nagorno-Karabakh Street. The killings have been widely condemned by world leaders. President Clinton said it was a real blow. We've yet to see how the assassination of this popular leader will affect the nation, but leading Armenian psychologists worry that these live, televised, brutal scenes could have a long-term effect on the Armenian people, particularly the children. This has been Ricky Gervais for the 11 o'clock show, Yerevan, Armenia.
Now here's the news just in.
Wales was affected by an earthquake this week, registering 3.5 on the Richter scale. An area the size of Wales was affected.
A man who battered his neighbour to death with a television set has been sentenced to 6 years. He would have served 5, but he didn't have a TV licence.
Channel 5 have caused widespread disgust by revealing they intend to broadcast Fred West's home video footage in a forthcoming documentary. The public is appalled, especially those people who, like me, have bought the video in the shops, having been assured it wouldn't be shown on terrestrial television for at least 3 years.
We've got the full box set here. It's Fred West's house party. You get 3 tapes in all. There's Wild Wild West, containing straightforward killing.
Way Out West, that's a selection of hilarious outtakes and bloopers linked by Nick Hancock.
And Go West, a compilation of Fred's DIY hints delivered straight to camera in an overtly threatening manner.
The DVD version should be out in time for Christmas, while Rose West should be out in time for Christmas 2023.
Please don't have nightmares. That was the news just in. And coming up in part 2, we talk to the man whose weekly News of the World column is read by millions and enjoyed by one, Michael Winner. And we'll be finding out this man's first impressions of America.
Me like the bate. What? After the break, see me in NYC talking to none other than Alexander Haig, ex-Secretary of State. West Side.
But before that, it's time to find out who the people think should be the Mayor of London. But not just any old people. Tonight we'll be listening to the ones we normally ignore. But which will it be?
This week, tramps.
Red Ken. Ken Livingstone, definitely.
I vote for him. Well, I don't vote, but I would vote if I did vote for him.
Ken Livingstone. Ken Livingstone should be the Mayor of London.
None of them. They're all wankers.
Welcome back to the 11 o'clock show.
Now it's time for showbiz news.
The wife of Los Lobos' lead singer has been kidnapped. The gang are not asking for money, they just want the band to split up.
As we reported yesterday, impressionist Mike Yarwood is in the Priory Clinic suffering from depression. Relatives feared he'd attempted suicide after finding a note that said, "And that was me."
Michael Jackson is threatening to sue anyone who broadcasts footage from a stolen holiday video of him with his children. Apparently it shows him teaching them to blow bubbles. And that was showbiz news.
Now, I just can't decide whether to stop eating French food or not. On the one hand, I hate the French. On the other, I love yop. It's got the consistency of good, strong semen. Here to put me straight is a man who turned from making Death Wish films to putting the Death Wish on Britain's restaurants. And he's just got a new book out to prove it. Please welcome Michael Winner. Sit down, please. How are you? Right? Michael, it's good to see you. Now, you've just released a book based on your Sunday Times column called Winner's Dinners. We've got it here. What qualifies you to be a restaurant critic?
Well, nothing really.
Oh, all right, that's fair
But you know, every person who eats in a restaurant is qualified to be a restaurant critic. They know what they like, they know what they're having, they know if the waiter's charming or they're dealt with snootily. So, you know, I certainly can't tell you how the sauce is made. Andrew Lloyd Webber said to me rather snootily, he said, "I don't think you're a real foodie, Michael." He's not, but I'm a glutton, you know.
Andrew Lloyd who?
Never mind that.
I once found a pube in a burger in a restaurant. It's true.
Did you complain?
No, I didn't complain. I ate it.
Did you thank them?
Yes, I did. I gave them a big tip.
Now, I want to talk about your book, because you not only wrote the words in it, but you're also an accomplished artist, and you did the pictures, didn't you?
Well, I'm not an accomplished artist, that's for sure.
Oh, you are? Let's
And
have a
I've
look
got-
at
But they're
this.
funny, I think. They're energetic.
Look, that's great. It's brilliant. Now, have you ever been tempted to exhibit your pictures?
Well, I haven't really been tempted. I haven't got enough courage for that yet. But I've got a big drawer full of them, that's for sure.
Oh, you should think
Anyone
about
wants
it.
them, just write. I'll send you one, I promise.
Well, I don't think the postman will be too busy, but...
Now, in the light of the ongoing beef crisis, Anthony Worrell Thompson has cancelled all French products from his menu. So, as a food lover, what do you feel about this French beef?
Well, you know, the French are a terrible pain in the arse. They always break the rules. You know, the country is run by farmers. It's not run by the government. Anything happens, the farmers get in tractors and set fire to things and block roads, and the government caves in. So, you know, anything we can do against the French at the moment, I approve of, really.
Quite right.
Fair enough. Yeah, solidarity. Hang on, that's Polish. Now, as a filmmaker, you've been on the receiving end of some of the critics' bile. Your last movie, Parting Shots, was described in the press as the worst film ever made. How do you do it time after time?
Well, of course, the pictures have been mostly enormously successful and many of them immensely highly praised. And, you know, I read the Evening Standard today, and Alexander Walker had some other British film as the worst film ever made. He actually rather liked mine.
Who's the best actor you've ever worked with?
Oh, unquestionably Marlon Brando.
Really?
Marlon Brando is considered in our business as the man who transformed acting from theatrical sort of declamation to behavioural acting.
Now, that
which all
was in
Hollywood
Superman, wasn't it, when he was Superman's dad?
No, it wasn't actually, no. It was in, in On the Waterfront and other great movies, which I know you are aware of, Ian.
Yes, I am. I'm being cheeky. Now, you've been quoted as saying there are very few people of 63 who have never married and aren't gay. Of course, you're going to be 64 on Sunday. Happy birthday, by the way. Have you ever married?
No.
Gay men. Michael
Yeah, I think we
Portillo
should.
is about to stand in Kensington, Chelsea. Now, that's where you live. Would you vote for him?
Well, I wouldn't vote for him because I think he's appalling, not because he's gay or was gay for a period which changes every time he gives a different speech. I just think he's an appalling politician.
Wouldn't you be tempted to be a candidate?
Well, I actually thought of standing. I actually seriously thought of standing as a candidate. I was so appalled about him. And I would have split the Conservative vote and got him out, actually. And
Portillo did try and split the Conservative, didn't he?
Now, Michael, you've been photographed with just about everyone, so taking the lead from your column, we've blanked out their features in the following photographs. Can you recognise them now?
Oh, that's a good gag. What?
Who's that?
Could be Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Correct!
Fantastic, well done, very good.
Oh, she looks lovely there. OK, how about this one?
Oh, just a minute.
Who's
That has to be Donald Duck. I don't know who that is.
No, that's you consoling a sad emu.
Oh, yes.
And finally, take a look at this.
Goodness me, that's a tough one.
Have a guess.
Chris Rea.
You, Fred and Rose.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Winner!
Thanks so much. Woo!
Thanks very much, Michael. Now, Daisy, did you know that there's a report out today that claims that companies that encourage touching at work actually do better?
Great news for us, Ian, but I wouldn't want to be Beadle's secretary.
But what do the great British public make of it all? I went out to get a feel from some Londoners, and here's my special report.
A report out today confirms what Monica Lewinsky has known all along, that touching at work is good for people and good for business. I've come here to London to see if the British public agrees. I found this story in the papers today that apparently touching people at work actually increases your work rate and productivity in the office. Do you ever get touched at work?
I don't recall, but that's what I have been.
Would a touch like this be acceptable in the workplace?
No. I wouldn't have thought so, no.
Because I'm
too close.
This is too close?
Too close, yeah.
Would a touch like this be acceptable?
Yeah,
I should think so.
Does that make you feel good or...?
Well, it wouldn't bother me, put it that way.
Supposing I was touching you like this, but I had a noticeable erection.
Well, depends how attractive you were, I suppose, really.
Supposing I was to touch you like this and go, ich komme. Does that make that touch more acceptable?
No.
How about if someone would stand very close to you throughout work and just talk to you like this? Would that make you feel relaxed?
Only the governor.
But if someone were to just stand very close to you at work, you wouldn't like it?
Nah.
How does that make you feel?
I'll tell him to fuck off.
Let's just see what the point is when you start feeling unrelaxed. Supposing someone were to just gently stroke your face like that.
Sorry? Going to take.
Sorry? That would be unacceptable behaviour, would it? Imagine I'm this 17-year-old girl in your workplace. How do you touch her up?
How do I touch her up?
Yeah, demonstrate to me how you give her a good feeling.
What? Without all the mucking about?
Well, you just show us what you do.
Well, sorry, you're going to have to come down a bit, because...
Oh, is that what you say to her?
Yeah.
Is it?
Nibble here like that. And then I'm up the neck like that. And then I offer some sweets. And I'm like that. I'm like that. And then I'll do the windscreen wiper, which is...
So there we have it. People in England really are very touchy-feely. It's been Ian Lee, the 11 o'clock show, London.
Now time for more news just in.
Japanese scientists have invented a mobile phone that can be used by people to speak to their pets. We got hold of a prototype of the phone and tried it out. We did call a dog, but he said, "I can't hear you, I'm in a kennel."
Religious groups are threatening to boycott the controversial new play Corpus Christi, in which Jesus is portrayed as a gay man. Of particular concern is this scene, in which the Son of God encourages the disciples to stare directly at his nuts.
And finally, in Milton Keynes, a barber shop is open that employs 4 topless female stylists. If you're lucky, they'll cut your hair, then blow you dry.
And that was more news just in. Yes, he's back, and Berkshire's no longer big enough for him, so he sent Staines' homeboy Ali G on a transatlantic trip.
And the first person he met in the US of A was none other than Nam hero and Ronald Reagan's ex-Secretary of State, Alexander Haig.
Check it out.
Yeah, don't stop. It goes out to the crew up top. That's it.
Recognize. I is here with my main man, General Alexander Haig. He was the Secretary of State, Commander of NATO, and also White House Chief of Staff. Today we're talking about America, its foreign policy and its army. America is well important, innit?
Yeah, I think today, if you look at its military capability, it's a superpower.
If we say the world order is like a group of mates or whatever, or like a gang, who is America's best friend? Who is like Ricky C, who I would do anything for? Or if he stopped going out with a girl, I would leave at least 3 weeks before boning her.
Yeah, I tell you, I think the best thing is for nations not to bone other nations.
Is Russia still the major threat to the world peace?
Well, you know, people have written Russia off because they're in a very serious state of disarray.
So do you think it's worth nuking it now when it is weak?
I don't think it's ever worth nuking anybody.
For real. But I is saying, like, surely a country want to increase its turf all the time. Like, taking my own situation, my own massive, first we took, like, the Wimpy in Egermeyer Street, and then we took the swings in Laycroft Park, and then finally we has got a bit of the multiplex in Bracknell. Do you not think America should be like that and increase the turf?
No, of course not.
Could a nuke blow up the whole of Ivor Heath?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Sure.
Could it blow up Langley Village as well?
Yeah, I have no doubt about that.
Could it blow up the whole of Eaton Wick?
Well, I don't know the square footage of Eaton Wick, but I would say probably.
It's like a town. Mm-hmm. So you were saying if they nuked Berkshire, which let's hope and pray that they won't do, it could cause a lot of trouble.
Oh, yeah.
That is well scary. What is the most advanced weapons the US has got now?
Well, clearly the modern nuclear weapons are very advanced.
Me heard that in a couple of years' time you will be able to shrink soldiers down to the size of salt and then put them in salt, and then you can sell it like in a shop or whatever to another country, and then when it come out people will use it, but there's some way of making sure that people don't eat the stuff. eat the kind of, I can't remember, there's something about salt.
Well, there's no technology of that kind that I'm aware of.
Let's talk about Vietnam.
All right.
What did you do in Nam?
I was a battalion commander.
All right. How old was you then?
I was in my early 40s.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the average age was 18.
That's for soldiers, yes.
Was the Vietnam people very nice?
Well, I didn't know many Northerners.
Because there was this geezer who came to my school in the second year called Chun Phai Tao. He was from Vietnam and couldn't speak any English, so in the third year we hung him from this hook with his pants. He left after a while. But did you know him or any of his mates?
No, I knew a lot of South Vietnamese, many. I knew their leaders, I knew President Diem.
Actually, I think he came from China. But there's a funny lot. What?
Well, I know many Chinese too.
For real. Did you ever work for President Reagan?
Yes, I was his Secretary of State. I know him very well.
Is it true, looking back now, that Reagan and Thatcher was actually doing it? Is that really true?
Doing it?
For real? Is it true that they was having slipping?
Listen, I think at that point in Ronald Reagan's life, he couldn't have done it if he wanted to. He was quite old then.
Maximum respect. It was a real honor to meet you. Do you want to big up anyone? Anyone you want to have big up out there? You want to give a shout out to anyone?
A what?
A shout out, say yo to your posse or
Oh,
whatever.
no. They'd all just
whatever.
as soon I'd keep my mouth shut.
Respect General Haig in the house.
Very nice. And for more on our top story, we go over now to Ricky Gervais in Armenia. Ricky, what's...
Go on.
Ricky, what's happening in the aftermath of this terrible blow to democracy?
Well, Ian, the fledgling democratic state is bearing up, and under Armenian law, the president doesn't have to hold elections. He can just appoint a new prime minister. After his mistake with the vampire lad, I think he'll be a bit more careful this time.
And is there any news on who might be appointed?
If you're asking me, I reckon Frankenstein.
Yeah, but don't forget, of course, that Frankenstein was the doctor and not the monster.
Yeah, if you're splitting hairs.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
Ricky.
whatever.
Yeah.
Just time before we go for some picture news. And in Beijing, Chinese troops put on a show of strength with a 21-cum salute.
Don't forget to join us next week, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. And to avoid any confusion, take a look at this. Good night.
Good night.
The 11 o'clock show is only on Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays. Now, bearing that in mind, what time would you expect to see the 11 o'clock show on a Friday?
On a Friday? It's not on a Friday. You just said it. It's not on a Friday, is it? Or is it? It is on a Friday. Yeah, exactly. It's not on, like you said, 3 times. No. It's only on the Friday. That's it.
It's not on Mondays?
No. Is it or not? Is it or not? It's not. It's only on a Friday.
It's not on a Mondays.
Oh, it is on a Mondays. Oh, what? Is it just starting back up again?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, what did it used to be on? It used to be on a Friday, didn't it?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays.
Oh, did it? Oh, I didn't know that.
It's not on Mondays.
But the new series is on the Monday.
It's not on Mondays.
Oh, I see. So what do you want me to say?
When do you think it's on?
ITV.
Excellent.